Hi everyone, John McLeod from macbet.com.au. You can go on our Facebook page or go on Twitter. It's Macbet John on Twitter. As far as racing goes on Saturday at Doomben, we just got a report through from Shane Baker from Punting Form. He was the opinion that the fence wasn't that crash hot. Two, maybe even 3 lane was okay, it was pretty good, and then it got worse as they went out. Now, on our figures and what we do, we've pretty much got it even across the track. Maybe the fence was a little bit inferior right on the fence, the 1 lane, and I'm saying this just because the first 3 or 4 races, a few of the horses in that 2 lane were able to get away with it, and I think it was because of the way the races were run. You know, on-pace horses went good. They were it was a real sprint home. The first sectionals were pretty ordinary, and they sprinted home. So those horses in the 1-2 lane are pretty much automatically in that on pace around that position. Horses back in the field veer off the fence on most occasions. So I do think there was a little bit of an advantage on in that 2 lane, and I was surprised that the fence didn't play as good, or right on that fence didn't play as good as what you'd expect on a day where a lot of the races were run fairly slowly. So it was interesting. The first race we had something small on Galtiro. We thought it was going to lead easily, which it pretty much did. I don't think the sectionals were anything to write home about early, and I thought it was pretty disappointing. I think the 2000 seems like it might not be its go. A mile might be more up its alley. I thought it was wide the other day and kept on fighting. Actually went about 14 lengths below average for that first bit. So, you know, it really should have been kicking on better than what it did. So, very disappointing, that horse. The second race was what we wanted to be on Countess de Galvez and Highway. Now, I was very worried about Highway, where it was going to get to. You know, he hasn't really been going forward. He did go forward here though. He finished up going around from this position right over to here and got in front of Countess de Galvez, who finished up 3rd on the fence. Now, if you put these two together, like you can see how my, you know, I've got it around the $6 mark, Highway, and $3.70 Galvez. If I put it around where it actually finished up, you know, we've got a $2.60 shot. So it was a bit of a blue of mine, just as map-wise and where I put it, and I made a bit of a, you know, it was a big difference to us. We would have been really having a good bet on the Highway, and maybe, you know, throwing something on Countess de Galvez where we went the other way. We pushed into Countess de Galvez a bit more, or a lot more than Highway. So it was a map problem there. Pretty much the market came around what we had it. You know, Ponytail shortened up fairly big on Betfair and everywhere. Came in fairly hard. The finish we had at 670, and we gave it as much as we could give it. You know, we just went one off its best. Seen Too Many went good. It was sort of black book, this horse. We thought it went good. It hadn't had a run for a while, and it's improved. So it's had the 28 days off, made a long run, and kept on coming down the line. Definitely Highway is another black booker, and one to follow. You know, now that you know that he can put himself into the race and finish his races off, he's going to be very hard to beat over the mile journey from now on. You've just got to keep him around that mark. So they're the two to follow out of that race, Seen Too Many and Highway. Race 3, here we liked AC Tong D, but you know, Skylake had a chance because it was going to lead, we thought, fairly easily. Now, Time to Play led in a slow run race the other day at the Coast, and I previously he'd, you know, just midfield horse, and I've sort of made a blue of where I've put him. He's actually gone forward and cross Skylake. It didn't affect us in any way apart from our multis. You know, I put it in for 3rd, I think it was. time to play. Yeah, you can see over here where we've got 5. You know, that's where we've put it around only in for 3rd, and so it cost us a fair bit in that. And the map made a big difference, because you can see if I make it go to the front, it brings it into 12. We get it in for 2nd, and it actually runs 2nd. So it was a bit of a difference on the map situation. I made another blue with the map. So you can see how our maps can make a huge difference to our prices and what we're thinking. You know, going forward, we've just got to really, knuckle down on our maps a bit more, I think. But AC Tong D was very unlucky. He went forward in the right position. Skylake grabbed hold and let Time to Play come around him, and then that shuffled AC Tong D back further than what it wanted to be, and it was a sprint home race. You know, it just couldn't do any more than what it did, AC Tong D. It was a nice run and probably should have won. I think the sectionals, yeah, they went 4.5 lengths below par, above par, so they didn't. They walked, and they got home 6 lengths above par, faster than par. So, you know, it was very, very hard for horses to make ground, and AC Tong D was one of those. Barefoot, very solid in the market. We really couldn't get it there just because we knew it would be back in the field in a slowish run race. So, you know, it was always going to be in trouble, and then the pace actually came off even more. So that type of horse may improve next time, just because he just wasn't, wasn't suited, and there was money for him. Black Book was out of that race. You know, AC Tong D, you can't knock the run. Race 4, here again we were wrong with our maps. The big house went. We've had it going forward. It's led every start. He come out a little bit, about a half a length behind him, and then just gave up, Carl. I would have thought he would have pushed forward, but, you know, I was very, very, against what he did, especially on the audio, Carl, because I thought he's a horse that always races up on the speed, and next minute he's back last and easing back last. Now, the one thing that he has up in his favour is that he did come out a little bit slow, and then he's probably thought, geez, if I push hard here, horse might either take off or be wide. And so, you know, I was probably a bit too hard on Carl, saying that ridiculous him going back. Rabbit Hunter went really good. He went back as well, but he had a tricky gate, Bayless, and he actually just went eased back. He was wide and he didn't know where he was. If he takes him back to Caloundra, he's a horse to follow. He's going good, the horse. So I'm happy to be on Rabbit Hunter. Macwin was unlucky in the straight. Just probably wouldn't have won for sure, but it would have finished a lot closer. We had him around about the market price. Rabbit Hunter and Big House, we had good bets on those two, and you know, they both raced good, but they were in the wrong positions. We had them completely wrong. Fuji Flyer was 6-4 in the morning. We had $10, $11. We just really wanted to bet against it. Blew out to $5.50 and was no money for it whatsoever. Just couldn't get the distance. Justify was disappointing. It had a perfect run in behind him. Just doesn't get the 1200. He'll take him back, freshen him up, and take him back to the 1000. Race 5, Meet Mr. Taylor. Nothing much more to say in this race. The one thing, maybe the time wasn't there, which was surprising. I thought they were rolling along quite good, but as far as sectionals go, I think they went around about par both ends. So I would have thought maybe this Meet Mr. Taylor would have gone a bit better than that. They went. No, that was that race. It was the next race. We didn't bet in this race just because it would come in real short. I didn't take the $1.75 in the morning. I sent out 1.5 units on it, that price. It's coming to $1.40 at the finish. I should have been making a decision earlier than I did, and missed the boat with that horse. Meet Mr. Taylor was on par for the first bit and ran about a half a length slow for the second bit. So you'd think he'd run a bit better. So, we're not bagging the win, but it wasn't as good a win as for a $1.40 shot as than what you would expect it. Again, that race was interesting because Capital Connection got up on the fence. Looked like it was going to dart through, but as I said, the fence was no good. right on that fence. So that might have been a reason why that horse didn't finish off as well as it did, as what you'd expect. But that's just, I'm not 100% sure about whether it went any good. He sort of just peaked on his run, I thought, but could be on that fence. That's the only little positive for it. Race 6. Interesting race this. We had Shelwa fairly short in the morning. We had it around 2:30. That's what it was. There was no money for it at all, or for 189 day break. So we sort of made it market and to see where we sat with everything else. Frangipani Moon was a stack of money. You can see where it was going to map, was going to get in the perfect position. It had every possible, just run down by a better horse in Veronese. Veronese come out a half a length slow, but Frad was able to hunt it through and get into about a midfield position. And when Veronese was with Shelwa in the run, you just knew Veronese would beat Shelwa. So it was heavily backed Veronese. It came into about 420. It was around the $5 I think earlier, and but it was solid money on Betfair late. Strong money, and it was a good win. Drummador was a horse to follow. It stayed at the 1200 metres, second up. Now if it goes to the 1400, 1600 at a big track, it'll be going close. Our girl Silky went better at the 1200. He was held up in the straight, or she was. Went all right. Shelwa, I thought it was a touch disappointing. So the two black bookers in the race were Drummador, probably just Drummador. Our girl Silky's had a few chances. We've been tipping it a fair bit lately. Gemma Scotland firm right up into 250. Sectionals were all right from memory. Just get that up in a minute. Written with these run second. It chased hard. It went good. I wish it was at Caloundra on Sunday. It was sort of it was a certainty up there in a race, and he put him in this race, but he probably got just as much prize money out of the running second here than Sunday. But Gemma Scotland's a nice horse. He had to push forward. He rode a perfect form, and he did the right thing by going forward. We didn't know what he was going to do. We were a bit hesitant in the map here. Mad Irish Tycoon took off around it, but Gemma Scotland got into the right position, did the right thing, was too good for him, even though he was first up. And I heard the trainer say that he's going to take improvement out of the run. So he's a black booker. He's a horse to follow because he's just a nice horse. Garibaldi just had nowhere to go. He was out here. He was just in no man's land. I was surprised trainer, keeping him in this race, because he just had there was just nowhere to go for him. Must have been a fitness thing that he was getting him ready for something coming up in the next couple of weeks. He went like a bomb. He sat threw him 4 wide the trip and kept on trying down the straight. So it was a really good run by it. It's definitely the black booker out of the race, along with Gemma Scotland. Race 8, where do we go here? We didn't do anything here. We were Langro. Again, I should have had Langro leading a little bit easier than he did. I had the pace right. The pace was really on, and he was able to hang on. Money came from him, as we said on the audio. He was in the wrong end. That he was in the wrong part of the track at the coast, and still pinged and got up, and just going from 1200, I think it was 1100 or 1200 at the coast to 1350. Those 1100, 1200 metre horses, they got a lot more speed than the 1350 metre horses, so he was able to just cross all these fairly quickly. They put a bit of pressure on him, and he ran along quick. In the run, I think they went about 6 lengths faster than average, and he was still able to boot and kick away again. So if he finds a race with not as much speed and able to cross them, 1350, 1400 at Eagle Farm, I think he'll win again, this horse Langro. Next race, again the favourite, that was race 8. Race 9, this race where I hated this race. I didn't know where to go. I thought Sort of Justice would lead, which it did, and had every possible. We thought Sabcat had a nice chance at good odds. It came in from about 11 or 12, $13 into $8 on Betfair, or about $9 on Betfair. Manea, they came for heavy. It's a cat. It just needs the run of the race, and it did get it. It's pings sometimes, other times it doesn't. It's just a horse you cannot follow. Sick about El Campeador. Again, we had him out here. If we got him over there, I would have been throwing something on him, because we took something off him because of him wide, and we had him $15, and I'm just sick about not backing him because he was around $70 or $80 on Betfair, and I didn't play in the race because I missed the price on Sabcat and got the shits, and just didn't play. And if I was involved in the race, I would have been having something on our Campidor for sure. Even our multis, you can see over here, we've got it in for only second and third and not for the win. So that was a real sickening blow for us, because if we pushed him forward and got him up there, which was possible, you know, we get him to $10, he goes into our multis, a big result, you know, 1100 on the bloody thing. Just it was a big problem with that. So all day, from what I can see, is that we stuffed up our maps. You know, it can happen in these smaller fields because, you know, jockeys will make a different decisions because they think there's no speed, or there's good speed, and we're going to ride it differently. And but that's what you've got to cater for and try to work out what you're going to do. So, but we've got to just have a little bit more of a think about our maps and where we're going to put them. But because that's made a big changes to our prices on Saturday, that's for sure. We got away with a win, but it could have been huge. On Sunday, there was one race there that I wanted to talk about. Buffy, thing of Stewie Kendrick's. Terrible ride by the kid. You know, he was in an okay position, but what had happened, he came out and he wanted to follow, you know, 20, 30 to 1 shots instead of knowing the horses in front of him and saying, okay, you're my man, I'm going to follow you into the race. He wanted to follow roughies, and all of a sudden he's just got held up down the straight and never got a run, peeled out, you know, 6, 7 off the fence, and then chased hard at the finish and run fourth and got beaten about a length and a bit, or maybe 1 length. It was just a sickening watch of a kid who's not knowing the form and not knowing who they're going to track into the race, because that's an important thing. You don't want to be following 50 to 1 shots, that's for sure. So that's my bitch for the week. I think, as I said, we got away with something. We lost at Chartin. We had a nice result in the last race. We took the 2s, the last winner, but all through the day on our little bets, we just kept on bleeding away. So it wasn't so good at the finish at Chartin. But anyway, we'll be back next Wednesday at Happy Valley. I'll be doing the whole meeting on Wednesday, and then back next Saturday. So hopefully we can get away with something and just chip away and just win something, because that's what we're trying to do.